What if the wrestling you've seen on pay-per-view isn't the whole story? Today, we will uncover how independent wrestling and WWE differ in style, control, and vibe. Now, I can talk forever about wrestling, so I must jam a lot in 8 minutes. There is no difference between independent wrestling and professional wrestling. They are the same thing, but there is a huge difference between independent wrestling and televised wrestling, like WWE and TNA. Like the booking, the history, the promoter, the wrestling moves. According to WWE itself, WWE was established in 1953 at the Capitol Wrestling Corporation, growing from a regional wrestling promoter into the world's biggest professional wrestling and sports entertainment company. According to academic diaries, in professional wrestling, the independent circuit or indie circuit refers to many independent promotions that are much smaller than major televised promotions, particularly like the current WWE and TNA promotions. And back in the day, it was WCW and ECW. There is one thing that will never change in wrestling. You will always have a babyface and a heel. A babyface is a person everyone likes, a good person. And a heel is someone who nobody likes and is a bad guy. Some moves are banned in televised wrestling. Independent wrestling has a larger fan base and gets heels to yell at you. In televised wrestling, you don't have that interaction. How is independent and televised wrestling different? As a person who always loves wrestling, I always wondered what the difference between WWE, televised wrestling, and independent wrestling. After researching the topic for this speech, I'd like to introduce you to the world of independent wrestling and televised wrestling. We will look at the difference between independent wrestling and televised wrestling. Let us begin with the fans. How the fans interact with shows in independent wrestling and televised wrestling. Live event participation. Fans attending physical events experience wrestling as an immersive spectacle. Key interactions include vocal interactions, front row, and interactive opportunities, like dark matches and meet and greets. Local indie appearance. Vocal engagement, like the cheering, the chanting, the booing, that influence the crowd's dynamics, and even nudging creative decisions for televised promotions. According to MIT, fans closest to the action witness small but impactful moments like the wrestlers' promos during commercial breaks, entrance cues, and pyro effects. Attendees often access non-televised bouts, like the dark matches, or personalized interaction with the wrestlers. So like they can get the pictures with the wrestlers, they can get autographs from the wrestlers, whatever they want from the wrestlers, like a picture, all that. Enhancing attachment and perceived inclusion in the unfolded narrative. Now, a dark match is a non-televised bout that's held before or after the show. It's used to warm up the crowd, test talent, and give new or local wrestlers a chance to perform in front of a live audience without the pressure of TV. Now, a pyro effect is also known as pyrotechnic effects, are spectacular visual displays created using controlled explosions, flames, smoke, and commonly used in entertainment, concerts, and special events. Now, independent wrestling does not use dark matches or pyro effects. It's more for the televised wrestling. The wrestling dynamics. Understanding the dynamics of wrestling, such as feuds, championships, and match stipulations, can provide insight into the fans' experience. Fans can learn about the events and decisions that occur during WWE events by considering these aspects. One can effectively explain the fans' experience at televised shows, highlighting the excitement, engagement, and connection to the wrestling community. Fan interaction is not the only thing in wrestling. You have to understand some things like the banned wrestling moves. Now, there is something called the Athletic Commission. For example, in Louisiana, they ban blood and pile drivers. So if you're in Louisiana and you have a show, you cannot have blood in your show. You cannot do pile drivers at the show. Depending on what state you host a show at, depends if they have an athletic commission. And they have certain rules you have to follow in the state. Chair shots to the skull have been banned since 2010. The buckle bomb is slamming a spine into the turnbuckle, which is another move that has been banned. According to Wrestling Attitude, the X signal is a law. If a referee throws up an X, the match stops. Period. No more powering through. A concussion from a pop from crowd. The ring mat is basically a high-tech mattress now. No more thuds on concrete that you can hear all the way in the nosebleeds. And concussion is a major part in wrestling. If you show us symptoms, you're off the tour. No arguments. No, be like, oh, I'm fine. None of that. According to Wrestling Attitude, the wrestling world moved away from head drops for one reason: sustainability. You cannot run a business on luck. In 2026, they found that being wild is a liability. How are creative freedom in wrestling and televised different? According to PWI Insider, creative freedom in independent wrestling is characterized by a more personal and experimental approach, allowing wrestlers to explore. The freedom is often seen in a unique style and creative freedom that indie promotions offer, which can include hardcore wrestling, technical wrestling, lucha libre, and high-flying styles. Indie promotions are known for their unpredictable matches and shocking twists, which attract fans looking for something different from the mainstream. Indies often explore niche genres like death matches, high-flying, lucha libre, and technical wrestling. And storylines can be experimental, emotionally raw, or culturally embedded, giving wrestlers the flexibility to take narrative risk. While creative input is encouraged, performers frequently self-manage their matches, their promos, their booking decisions, fostering personal ownership over their careers and narratives. Promotions offer a great degree of creativity freedom than televised wrestling, allowing wrestlers to propose ideas, shape promos, and collaborate with creative staff. However, ultimate control lies with the company, which balances talent's input against timing, continuality, and production considerations. Due to televised schedules, rating pressure, and sponsor obligations, and TV runtime constraints, televised matches are more formulaic. High-risk or niche matches types are less common, and major storylines appeal to the mass television audience. In conclusion, this is why the difference between independent and televised wrestling. How is independent and televised wrestling different? How do fans interact with the shows in independent televised wrestling? Why are certain moves banned in independent wrestling and televised wrestling? How are creative freedoms in independent and televised wrestling different? I wish I can go on and on about this, but sadly my 8 minutes are up. But I hope this information is useful and finds you well.